Fans of the Ryanverse, get in here. The American political action thriller television series Jack Ryan, or as properly called, Tom Clancy's Jack Ryan, knows that the last season of the series has left so much to our imagination. If there's one question that's on the lips of everyone, it's, did Luca die at the end of the third season? Well, this video has everything you need to know about that. Keep watching to get the juicy details. What you need to know. It's important to point out that there are spoilers in this video for those who haven't seen it, but if you don't mind, then you can continue watching. What we can say about Jack Ryan's third season is that the espionage drama truly comes in hot from the cold. John Krasinski can now be officially referred to as Hollywood royalty. The actor has come a long way since the days of The Office to do spectacularly well in this series. He's gone from the sardonic nice guy Jim Halpert on The Office, which earned him 2 consecutive Screen Actors Guild Awards for outstanding performance by an ensemble in a comedy series. He also has a horror franchise, a comic book character in the Marvel Universe, and a successful espionage series with multiple seasons. That lanky, indifferent, and effortless dude who bagged the receptionist turns into the bulky and rugged Jack Ryan, the CIA's only hope to avert a full-blown war between the US and Russia in Jack Ryan Season 3. While the series once again delivers first-rate entertainment, its third season brings back unruly memories of unrealistic set pieces and predictable ends, although, uncharacteristically, some well-brewed and original spy work. How does the plot play out? If one were not concerned with the plot, one could find plenty in a roundhouse tour around Europe. You definitely get to see the best parts of the continent. As Ryan chases the elusive Project Sokol across the continent, he goes through cities like Rome, Prague, Budapest, and many more undiscovered places that come straight from the best-looking tour guides. If you are struggling to find inspiration to plan that backpacking through Europe experience that you've always dreamed about, Jack Ryan Season 3 would surely come in handy. Taking it a notch higher, the narrative elements in this season are reminiscent of the treacherous political turmoil that the eastern part of Europe finds itself in presently. We all know about the high tensions between state heads, and Jack Ryan's writers gauge a similar feeling in the show's universe. The whole ordeal between NATO and Russia is weaponized by a rogue faction trying to restore the lost glory of the USSR. Ryan then goes on to investigate intelligence that points towards Sokol being reignited, but his intrusion is not taken lightly, and a narrative is spun against him, which eventually brands him as a traitor. Luka Goncharov, played by James Cosmo, who is an erstwhile Soviet commander, then goes on to sit as the head of the SVR. He bands with Ryan and Greer, played by Wendell Pierce, and Elizabeth Wright, played by Betty Gabriel, all from the agency. They try to figure out the exact motives of the cabal trying to goad the world into war. Czech President Elena Kovac, played by Nina Haas, and her father Petr, played by Peter Guinness, douse a fire of their own when Russian Minister Popov is murdered on their soil. At some point, an attempt is made to renew Project Sokol, a program to build nuclear weapons undetectable to radar, but it turns out that the actual hunt for something more controlling brews transiently. So, how does the third season compare with the previous ones? From the first 2 seasons, you'll be able to predict that the ensemble is given more responsibility in the last season than ever. We applaud that. Also, we like that the storyline evolved and moved away from Ryan's personal life to give each actor in the story a better defined role to play. Krasinski isn't the only character in the series with all the responsibility for acting and stunts. Haas, Guinness, Pierce, and other stalwarts can balance the scales. In the end, they all churn out refined performances fine-tuned to the requirements of the roles. Also, there is much less drama this time. The absence of drama is replaced by the elaborate depiction of classic espionage teachings in full flow. Mind games, manipulation, and strategizing dominate how the story moves forward and how the spies settle scores. This stands in contrast to how they are usually presented, the full use of fists and guns. We noticed that the practicality of diplomacy is done away with, and it's understandable when we consider that they wanted to start and conclude the plot within 8 episodes. Of course, we weren't expecting them to pull any The American stunt, considering that the makers did not have that kind of time. Again, there was no way they could marinate actual processes and systems into 8 episodes. Everything politics-wise is too simplistic in Season 3 of Jack Ryan, but given those logistical impossibilities, some leeway must be afforded on that front. Some smart decisions were likely made to make the plot cutthroat and keep us engaged. How does it end? There were several interludes that we understand were essential cornerstones upon which the increasing connection between Ryan and Luca was being established. In fact, we believe that they became the soul of the entire season. However, the age-old ailments for shows like Jack Ryan eventually play spoilsport. Realism and predictability are unavoidable metrics to assess such shows objectively. Unfortunately, Jack Ryan does not score too well in that regard. Our final verdict about the final season is that despite its illusory beginning, Jack Ryan Season 3 chooses the easy way out, but not without doing all the hard work to set up an enticing cross-continent chase. If you are one that has a simple taste, no major expectations, and just looking to ease out the stress of everyday life, then Jack Ryan may just be right for you. One question we cannot leave unanswered is, does Luca die at the end of Jack Ryan Season 3? Well, keep on watching this video to find out. Does Luca die die at the end of Jack Ryan Season 3? In Season 3, Jack Ryan and James Greer's duo was as impressive as ever, but another character that we didn't see coming that got introduced into the mix was Russian operative Luka Goncharov, who was played by James Cosmo, who was clearly a fan favorite. Similar to Krasinski's Ryan, he was also a man of honor and a true patriot. However, he was haunted by his past and wanted to redeem himself for a heinous crime that he was involved in back in 1969. While he did get redemption, his fate in the series was left ambiguous. This third and final season of Jack Ryan introduced us to Sokol, a project from the Soviet Union started in 1969, but it was shut down due to its darker prospects, and everyone involved was killed as a means to sweep it under the rug. Flashbacks revealed that Luka was the second-in-command soldier who was ordered to kill the Sokol scientists. He followed his superior's order to shut down Project Sokol completely and passed the order down to his troops to kill every scientist working on Sokol. From that moment on, he lived with the guilt of killing the people of Mother Russia, who were simply doing what they were asked for, and upon hearing about Sokol's rebirth, he wanted to put an end to it by finding out its orchestrator. Ultimately, he did manage to find the ones behind it, and they turned out to be Petr Lebedev, Alexei Petrov, and Roland Antonov, and put a stop to Sokol. He trusted the fact that if he relayed the intel about Sokol's rebirth to the Americans, then they'd do everything to stop it. So he worked alongside Jack Ryan, and together, both of them prevented a war between Russia and the United States. While Jack and Jim were awarded medals of honor for their bravery, we don't think that Luka's story ended happily. Before we saw Jack get his medal, a soldier was sent to pick up Luka from his house at night, and being a highly experienced operative in his country, Luka knew what was about to happen. He has been anticipating it. As soon as he opened his door, he told the soldier, "Do not worry, I will not make this difficult." Earlier in the finale, he also told Roland Antonov that he will pay for his sins, but not today. So when the soldier went to pick up Luka at his doorstep 1 week later, the writing was on the wall for what was going to happen. The Russian veteran left a letter for Jack saying his final goodbye. It read, "Jack, we have done our jobs and done them well. This fight was passed down to us, and we will continue on with or without us, but we will always be better than the institutions we serve, and that is what matters when it matters most." He also goes on to say, "There are no heroes in our profession, but occasionally there are good men who act on what is right, not simply doing what they're told. I've not always lived my life with honor, but perhaps I have done enough to die with it. I hope the same for you." We were able to deduce that because he was among the last ones surviving who knew about Sokol, he was being taken to be executed as a repayment for what he did back in 1969. Luka Goncharov quickly became a fave for many of the show watchers, and it's a really hard one for most Ryanverse fans to say goodbye. However, it may have turned out to be a good thing that we were left to assume what happened to him, right? Since Jack Ryan Season 3 left it to our interpretation, we can come up with a happy ending where he revealed everything he did to stop Sokol and got hired by President Surikov. However, somehow, we all know that such an ending is highly unlikely. What do you think about Tom Clancy's Jack Ryan? What impact do you think the third season had on the entire series? What ending have you chosen to give to Luka Goncharov? Well, let us know if you're thinking the same thing as us, or if you have a different opinion. Let us know in the comments. Tell your friends about this too, and watch out for more videos from us. Thank you for watching.